genre.
Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who: The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one doctor at a time. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cass Fredrickson.
And today on the show, we'll be discussing Snakedance, the Fifth Doctor's ninth story, and a sequel to a story that we've covered previously on the show, Kinda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. So this is part of the 20th, am I remembering that correctly?
Yes.
20th anniversary season. And this is, in this season, you had John Nathan Turner had this sort of thing where he's like wanted everything to be a returning villain. Every story he wanted it to be some kind of returning villain. This one, however, is like a weird one because he's just like, let's have a returning villain, that snake thing from last season. So not quite like a big, like bombastic returning villain kind of thing in this particular situation. But yeah. So basically, Christopher Bailey had written Kinda, and when it wrapped production, Eric Sayward, the script editor, was really impressed with it and wanted Christopher Bailey to come back. Christopher Bailey was like, what are you so impressed with? You rewrote my whole script. Like, why do you want me to come back? Like, I don't want to come back. You're just going to rewrite it. And like, generally, Christopher Bailey has had like a really bad vibes with television in general, like not really understanding what the role of a script editor is and like consistency of tone and across episodes and things like that. And didn't really understand that, like, yeah, when you write something and it doesn't quite match what the rest of the show is, the script editor's job is to rewrite your script and get it to match. And in general, all of Christopher Bailey's TV work, he was frustrated by constantly being rewritten. Because he came from, I believe, the stage where no one touches the playwright's shit. And so he had like a real ego about it. And so the only reason that he came back was that Eric Sayward promised not to touch a word of his script. And so he gave him basically a checklist of everything that he needed to accomplish in this story. And told him to make sure that all of them got it, all of these elements got in, and if they did, then the script wouldn't be touched. So Christopher Bailey agreed to come back. Also returning for this story is Fiona Cumming, who had previously directed Castrovalva. And she had a lot of fun with that story and was anxious to come back. But when she came back, she wanted to do something that was heavily character centric. And so, John Nathan Turner and Eric Sayward both thought like she would be a perfect choice for Snakedance, and brought her in as well. Also going on behind the scenes at this point were contract negotiations. Exciting stuff. So, basically, what happened was they went into contract negotiations with Nyssa and Sarah Sutton, the actress. She decided that they had taken her character as far as they could, and so she was like, "I think it's time to wrap it up. So I'll come back. I'll do some episodes this season, but I want to leave halfway through. So if I'm going to leave halfway through, I don't want it to leave like a light switch. So let's start like writing Tegan out and having her grow and mature in a way that when she does leave, it's not going to be shocking or surprising to anyone. And so that was one of those checklist notes that Eric Sayward gave to Christopher Bailey for this. It's like, hey, make sure that Nyssa is growing up, I guess. Give her some moments of maturity and show that she is starting to outgrow the TARDIS. So that's happening. So she ends up signing a contract that brings her through to episode, I believe, 20 episodes. Yeah, 20 episodes in season 20. And so then they go into contract negotiations with Tegan. And for some reason, Janet Fielding was only commissioned for 18 episodes, which was a shock to everyone because they knew that Sarah Sutton wanted to leave and they gave her 20, but then Tegan was only 18. So they're like, I guess she's on the way out too. I don't know. So that was a surprise to everyone, but Janet Fielding most of all, and Janet Fielding was just sort of like, I mean, I guess I'm just biding my time and waiting to leave the show. I don't know what the plan is. And then of course Peter Davison signed for the full year of season 20.
Would that prove to be true with Tegan? Was she in fact on her way out?
No, not for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she leaves next season, I think. I don't even think she leaves this season.
Because she's in the Five Doctors,
right?
Which is the finale of this season,
right?
So yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah.
They must have fixed it.
Yeah, because she leaves right before Planet of Fire, right?
Yes,
the story before that.
She leaves in. Doesn't she leave in the Dalek one? Resurrection of the Daleks?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Well, good for her.
Yeah. So the story went off without a hitch, really. Production happened the way that it did. There is this really weird story where Peter Davison was asked by John Nathan Turner to come to Trafalgar Square, where he would be shooting a promotional trailer for Australian television. And so when Peter Davison arrived, he was surprised to see Sarah Sutton there and Janet Fielding there in full costume, along with Matthew Waterhouse, who was, of course, Adric. And was like, what is going on here? And it turned out that John Nathan Turner had secretly signed up Pete Davison for an episode of This Is Your Life, which is
what?
Yes, which is a program in which people are famous people are confronted with their life up to this point, their career, and sort of interviewed about it, I guess.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And
I misunderstood. I thought This Is Your Life was one of those shows where they show you your genealogy and your heritage.
No.
Okay. I was like, why are they all dressed like Doctor Who characters?
No, because that hadn't happened yet. That
right,
DNA stuff hadn't even been, that's not a thing yet.
That's true.
That's brand new for the OJ trial. That's
right.
Yeah, we're 20 years away from that still. 15 years away from that. So that was a really weird moment, but he is one of two Doctor Who stars that has had a This Is Your Life episode. The previous Doctor to have gotten one of those specials was John Pertwee, which is something I'd like to watch.
Is it always a surprise?
Yeah, apparently it's always a surprise. That's the point. It's you're not prepared for this big emotion, yeah. And I think the idea is oh, your life is flashing before your eyes. I think it's the idea, but yeah. They confront you with people in your past. It's just this crazy crazy thing. Confront as if they're like mad at you, but they're just like,
You
look
son
at your
of a
mom.
bitch.
Yeah, here's your mom, and you're whatever. Here's your childhood best friend. He's here, like they
You
do all
son
this
of a
research into your life. Yeah. So anyway, just a weird little side thing. And then the only other bit of like kind of trivia with this particular episode is well, we got two things. So number one, this was shot first in season 20 because of the extensive on location shooting of the premiere, the Arc of Infinity. They ended up shooting this one first because it was like all sets. And then the last episode of Snakedance in post-production went way over. And so in order to cut it back to time, Fiona Cummings, she took the last scene of the episode and just removed it and then just sort of tossed it off to the next episode's director and was like, here, you can use this at the beginning of your story. And he did. So that's why at the beginning of the next story, it's going to start with the Doctor and Tegan talking about how the Mara can never get her again and she's safe now. And this episode just sort of stops.
It does, now that you mention it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
I liked it though.
Yeah. It was cool. It was like it was good. It got out like real quick, like a 1970s movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and it's over. Get out of the theater. Leave.
It's you don't always have to shuffle back to the TARDIS at the end to kind of go over what happened.
Yeah. Or you can save that for the beginning of the next episode. So that's Snakedance. I'm curious what we all thought about this one. Cass, I believe you called this one a banger.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This was even better than I remembered it being. I had a lot of fun revisiting this. The sets are awesome. The costumes rule. I really like Fiona Cummings as a director. And I'm excited for like the other two stories that she's done because like one of them is like considered one of the best Doctor Who stories ever, and one of them is my personal favorite Peter Davison story. So, yeah, I don't know. This one was fun.
I'm excited.
Nick?
This one, it's really cool that you mentioned that the director wanted something character centric. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I found this to be like, the more that I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, this was a very character centric story. And I really enjoyed the ensemble. I just thought they each played such a fun role in the story that the running around that is early Doctor Who that I love so much, it was like fun instead of like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And also even now as like, an adult in the 2020s, this was like a pretty spooky episode.
Yeah.
There's some imagery that I was like, gosh, if I was like a kid in the 80s, this would have given me nightmares.
It's trippy. It's trippy.
It is trippy.
I would say that I really like this story, and I think I like it a lot more than Kenda, which I like fine, but I'm not over the moon for it like some people are. But I like this one a lot more. However, there are little things that that do bother me about this, and I don't know really who to blame. I don't know if I want to blame if it's a post-production thing, if it's Fiona Cummings as the director, if it's Christopher Bailey as the writer. But there's like little structural things that drive me nuts. Like in the first episode, there's like there's a scene between the prince and the queen that is one scene that they just keep cutting back to, right? And it's just, but no time has passed between cutting back to it. It's like you pick up right where you left off. And so it really does feel like it's meant to be seen as one scene, but we keep cutting back to the TARDIS and things happening in the TARDIS. And a lot more time passes in the TARDIS between scenes than in the scene with the Queen and the Prince. And so it just like hurts my brain to like watch it because I'm just like, but no time has passed in the throne room, but that it's been at least like 20 minutes in the TARDIS. What is going on? How do we keep cutting back and forth between these? So that was driving me nuts in the first episode.
That's fair.
And then I think that the trippiness, the sort of like the like existential, like, I don't know, whatever, like crazy stuff that was going on in this. I don't know. I wish it was weirder, I think. I wish it was even trippier and even weirder and more like it seems like it wants to be very abstract. But, you know, they're very limited on what they can do with, like, you know, shooting on video or whatever it is that they're shooting on.
Right.
And so I just wish it could get a little weirder. Like, I'm just like imagining like a world where David Lynch directed Snakedance. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, there's a world where this could have gotten a lot weirder.
I think
sure. Throw David Lynch into any.
That's true. Yeah. That's definitely true. But yeah. I'm
Cassie, you were going to say something?
Thinking about Dune a lot watching this. His Dune.
Yeah.
I was too. That's so weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the desert planet thing, is that Dune's fault? Like, do you guys know? Because I know that it came out in like what, the 50s, that book. So like,
well, I mean, if I wanted to be like a jerk, I would say like, you know, Edgar Rice Burroughs, like that's like you know, Mars is a John Carter, Mars.
Yeah.
Princess of Mars. But Dune definitely, like, I think what got me thinking about Dune a lot personally was I can't remember the last Doctor Who story where the pre-established like mythos of a planet was like being explored or reintroduced. Like the fact that this takes like 400 years after Kinda and the relics and like this belonged, we don't know what happened. Like, oh, but I the viewer do. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. That was really cool. It's a cool way to do a sequel because it is like a completely different kind of story from Kinda, which is like not typical with like sequels of any kind, really. Not like this. So
Kinda was more like a feuding people on one planet story, right?
Yep. And then there was also a snake god.
Of course.
In addition to the feuding peoples.
I really want them to finish the trilogy. I would love for the Mara to come back.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a lot. I was like, that would be a really cool pull to like bring back. Like,
apparently they did a Big Finish story.
Sure.
That is considered like, you know, the sequel to Snakedance, but I haven't listened to it, and I'm not sure. Like,
is it a Davison story or is it a different Doctor?
It's probably Peter Davison. Let me look.
Yeah, I don't listen to any of his because I don't consider them canon.
Yes, it is.
Snakedance 2 is still dancing.
Still dancing.
Yeah.
Why don't you consider them canon, Scott?
Because the Fifth Doctor has a very like closed loop of an era, and so having additional stories doesn't really make any sense for his era.
Got it.
And also because like they do stupid stuff like bring Adric back, but now he's like a 55-year-old man, but he's acting like a kid. It just doesn't make any. Yeah, it doesn't.
I see what you're saying. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's bad. It doesn't work at all. And like, God bless them for getting Peter Davison a paycheck and the whole crew an ongoing paycheck doing those Big Finish audios. But those are not canon. I refuse. I refuse to accept them as canon. That I only consider 6th, 7th, and 8th Doctor stories canon, I think. So I'm curious about 9 and 10. You know, those stories. I'm very curious about them. But I don't know how either of them could be canon, but I don't know. We'll see. I haven't listened to them. But anyway. Let's talk about Snakedance.
Let's do it. Snakedance, Part 1. Written by Christopher Bailey. Directed by Fiona Cumming. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Script edited by Eric Sayward. Air date January 18th, 1983. Tegan has returned to the TARDIS, but so have her nightmares of her time being controlled by the delightful snake deity, the Mara. The Doctor and Nyssa are confused to find that the TARDIS has landed on the planet Manussa, where everyone is celebrating 400 years of the world being free from the Mara. In the heart of a Manussa marketplace, a noblewoman named Tana and her bored, spoiled son Lon prepare for the upcoming celebration ceremony by journeying into the cave system where the ceremony will take place. Nyssa and the Doctor hypnotize Tegan and learn that she has again been possessed by the Mara and is responsible for taking the TARDIS to Manussa in the first place. The Doctor and Nyssa take Tegan planetside to try and find a way to free their friend from the Mara's control. The Doctor travels into the caves where he meets Lon, Tana, and their historical guide Ambril. Meanwhile, Tegan slips away from Nyssa and encounters a fortune teller who was only too happy to explain her grift to the strange new girl. Tegan shares a trick of her own, a snake skull that breaks through the fortune teller's crystal ball. So we open on a very kind of like surreal, like 70s album visual of like an old man like sitting in the sand.
Yeah, I like to call him the skinny Ben Franklin snake guy.
Oh yeah.
He looks like Ben Franklin to me. He just looks like a skinny Ben Franklin.
It's because of the hair, I think.
Yeah.
And his name is Dojin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelt more complicated than it sounds, turns out. I looked it up on the TARDIS wiki and I was like, oh, there's a lot of dots.
There's a lot of dots.
So he's hanging out, but then back on the TARDIS, I love it when I love Doctor Who because it can just start an episode with the Doctor being like, wait, where are we?
Mm-hmm.
Where did this thing take us? And they Nyssa works out that they're on a planet that was I forgot the name of the planet, but it was run by the Manussa civilization, and then after that the Sumerian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And the Doctor's like, oh no, that's the planet where the Mara came from.
Mm-hmm.
Who would take us there? Oh man. Wait, I remember someone yelling out coordinates.
It's like there's only 2 people other than you on the ship, buddy.
Yeah.
Adric's not here anymore. You can't be confused like this.
And this is like, I don't remember. Was it me who yelled out those coordinates? Or was it the other person that isn't in the room?
It's just like, I never should have let Adric leave. They're like, Adric died. Oh, that's right.
Leave.
He didn't. He died and he took all the dinosaurs with him.
He had to kill all the dinosaurs.
And
And so they deduce that. So wait, so what was Kinda specifically? Not like, what was that is the name of the alien race?
I don't remember.
I don't remember because the name of the planet is Diva Loca. Living La Diva Loca.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Kinda as a concept is referring to. But
Good.
yeah.
I feel better that that neither of you also remember.
That was like 6
so
seasons ago, dude.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
It's a group. It was like the native people were the kidnappers.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Okay.
It was the natives and the colonizers. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I remember. It's all coming back to me. We cut to poor Tegan in her bedroom having a nightmare about the Mora.
Snake dreams.
Having those snake dreams.
I really love Nissa's outfit in this, and I love her whole sort of like, this is the thing that they wrote in for her, where she was like, she's just being like, kind of like, is there something different about me, doctor? And he's like, I don't know. I don't, get out of my way. I don't.
Do I seem more competent than usual?
Yeah. And I don't know. I like her vibe in this a lot. It is like later story Nissa vibes are like really, really good.
I like, because she has like big sister energy now, because like every time the doctor is gonna give Tegan like shit, she's just like, doctor, don't do that. Like,
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
I don't remember what episode it is, but there is a part towards the end where the doctor like briefly lifts Nissa to like help her down and off a ledge or something, and she's like, thanks, but you didn't have to do that, jerk. And, like, this and that random other dude that joined their party was like, oh, you're in the doghouse now.
No, it's a police box.
Good one.
Just walks away.
I loved the mother and son.
The queen and the prince.
Yes, the son's name was Lon, the Frederator's son, but I can't remember the name of the mom. The Momra.
I don't remember either. I was kept referring to them as the prince and the queen.
I don't know that she says her name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
There's a few characters who don't say their name in this. Because apparently Christopher Bailey was like obsessed with naming characters something significant. And so my guess is when he couldn't think of something significant to name them, he just wouldn't name them.
I relate to that. Lost a lot of time just scrolling through Google, looking up like German poets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what's a cool name? But like Lon the son was just he was literally, you see him and he's on a chaise lounge. Just like, I'm bored of this being the prince on this planet. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, I love the conversation. Like later, the queen is explaining like why he's such like a punk ass to somebody, and she's like, "Well, you have to understand, his father's not dead yet. That's why he's so annoyed. He wants to be king, but his father won't just drop dead like a normal person." And let him become king, and so he's bored of being a prince because he's been a prince for too long. And I'm like, I don't know. He looks 17 years old. Like, maybe it's okay that his dad's not dead yet. I don't know.
It's like Dune.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now that
he's definitely got those vibes.
Now that you mentioned that, like the writer came from like stage play, like it feels like a play, like it's specifically like the scene that was driving you crazy about how like, because it feels like that's like one scene and then we would cut to like the doctor and companions in the TARDIS, like if we were watching it on stage.
Right.
But that's not how TV works.
Right. or even like the first scene with the mother, with Lon and his mom, where like, you can imagine like curtains open, Lon is on a chaise lounge, the mother comes in dressed for a party. Why aren't you ready yet? Oh,
right.
Eat it.
Right.
Like, we cut to like the festival or like, the town, and we see this man that's running like a snake maze.
Yeah. So this dude is Elizabeth Sladen's husband.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he got the he got the role of showman, which is just once again just another character that Christopher Bailey couldn't be bothered to come up with an important name.
That's true. He's in like every episode of this, and he doesn't get a name.
No, he's just the showman.
Cass, would you go through a snake maze a snake mirror maze?
At like a fair, maybe. I don't know. Not for money.
What if it had heavy? Right, yeah.
Better not cost me anything.
Right?
He was charging money. And in the context of what's going on is everyone's preparing for the 400th anniversary of the expelling of the Madra. Mm-hmm. St. Patrick driving the Madra out of Devaloka.
Oh my God.
So he's like,
what's the episode of The Simpsons where they all beat the snakes?
Oh, Whacking Day.
Yeah, it's Whacking Day.
No.
It's great. But he's hyping it to the passerbys, like the market people, that it's like, oh, it's like the ceremony. So this is like a religious themed maze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seems like in poor taste.
In general, I really like this set. This
it's great.
Like carnival / flea market set that they've built. It's very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And the open mouth of the snake that's like the entrance to the maze, I thought was really cool.
Very cool.
So like most of this first episode is the mother and son being given a tour of the cave, and like the son like not caring, and an exorcism, right? Or like they hypnotize Tegan.
Yeah, like dream hypnosis. Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh, this is why you have multiple companions. So one companion can help the doctor with exorcising a demon out of the other companion.
Oh no.
She does like the deep thing where she's like in the garden. She regresses to like her 6-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a feast of a role the story was for Tegan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they wanted to like have an episode that like let her, really shine. So that was what this was designed to do. And I think they did a really good job. In general, I think like, cause I think Nissa also has like a lot of business to do in this story, which I really like. So it's like an exploration of her relationship with the doctor, and then like also like Tegan has her own internal thing that she's dealing with, which is it's cool. And she gets to be a villain, dual role, baby.
Yeah. When they're exploring the town, Tegan is just fully possessed by the Madra, and the episode ends with her visiting like a fortune teller. That's like, oh, I love how every like person in this town is so open to like, yeah, no, this is a crock. Like, look, it's just a mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. They all like love the Mara, and they also like all like hate it and thinks it's stupid. It's just so weird.
It's like a real holiday.
Yeah, it's true. I like the POV shot that we keep getting of like Tegan like looking around and like Nissa like trying to like snap her out of it, and it just keeps like passing by Nissa being like, wake up, and then it just keeps the camera just keeps going by, and I'm like, that's so cool, like such a like a interesting shot for Doctor Who. So kudos to Fiona Cumming, because that's a really cool shot.
And then I'm a fan of cliffhangers that are kind of out of the ordinary. And this cliffhanger of part 1 is Tegan summoning a snake skull out of the crystal ball. And the fortune teller is just screaming her head off.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
But she's no.
There's a real Sam Raimi ending. That
it kind of was, yeah.
So yeah.
Snakedance Part 2, written by Christopher Bailey, directed by Fiona Cumming. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Script edited by Eric Sayward. Air date January 19th, 1983. Tegan sneaks out of the frightened fortune teller's tent, proud of herself for delivering such an effective scare and cliffhanger. Back at the caves, the Doctor succeeds in making Lon, Tana, and Ambril think he's crazy by insisting that the legends of the Mara are in fact history. Tegan manages to lose Nyssa again, and this time hides inside a hall of mirrors. Nyssa finds the Doctor and tells him about Tegan's disappearance. The Doctor decides they should both head back to the TARDIS so they can monitor the wavelengths of a cool crystal he found in the caves and decided to take. In the Hall of Mirrors, Tegan uses her Mara mind control powers to compel a local showman named Dugdale to bring Lon to her. Back on the TARDIS, the Doctor and Nyssa learn that the mysterious crystal has psychic properties. Dugdale brings Lon to the Hall of Mirrors, where the Mara places both of them under its control. And then we get a reoccurring thing in this story, because part 2 opens with her, the fortune teller screaming, but then she's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tegan's like, what do you think of
She
that?
does get carried out of there, though. Because then,
That's true.
Because Tegan's in like full blown like tee-hee-hee mode, which is like a real weird mood.
I could see her mouth when she was screaming.
Tee-hee-hee.
We learn about we go to that museum where we see all the Sumerian artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
I really like oh my god, what's his name? The curator or whatever. Ambril?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ambril.
Yeah.
I thought it was Amber for a while. And I was like, oh, cool.
I don't usually like characters that are like super aggro about how wrong the Doctor is whenever the Doctor like says something. But I like that it's kind of like this character and the Doctor have kind of switched places to me, because like this man is like operating from like what he views as like 100% logical and like not buying into like the superstition of like the Mara and stuff. And the Doctor is like, actually, I know about the Mara and the Mara's coming back. So like, I like that the roles are kind of reversed, where the Doctor like comes off as like this kind of superstitious, not like kind of like a hack almost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
But,
no, I like that too. I like this guy. I just like the multiple scenes of the Doctor just being like, just tell me the legend. Just tell me the legend. It's like, no, you're not going to get to know the legend. I'm not going to tell you the legend, because if I tell you, you're going to tell other people, and then people will know the legend. I don't want them to know the legend because it's stupid.
Yeah.
And it just, it's so, like, the argument is just so silly. And I love that. And then I love the bit with the hat, where he puts on the hat of the 6 heads, and he's like, you're the 6th head. And he's like, get out of my office.
No, I thought he was a great foil for the Doctor. They had a real like Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd relationship.
More like Yosemite Sam, I think, because he was getting all like flustered. But yeah.
Tegan gets lost in the mirror maze and starts getting like haunted by the Mara.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really creepy scene.
What's the deal? I didn't quite catch what the Mara was saying when Tegan was like, but there's mirrors in here. The Mara hates mirrors. And the Mara was like, not anymore, bitch.
Oh,
why?
Because the end of Kinda, they trap the Mara in like mirrors.
Yeah.
And like, I think because like it's just been like, it's not the snake, it's in Tegan. Like it doesn't matter now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Lon is possessed. He is taken down to the maze. Oh, so yeah, like Tegan / the Mara like win the admiration of the showman.
Yeah.
Because he thinks she's just like throwing her voice. And so she like tells the showman to lead Lon down into the maze so he can like possess him.
Right.
Co-possession. Yeah, it was interesting. It was like split. Like self they were themselves, but then also a hive mind.
Yeah. For a second there, like at the end of this episode with the cliffhanger of this episode, it's like they've got almost like Spike and Drusilla vibes for a second.
Because of the way they're holding their hands.
Yeah. And they're just so like smug. I don't know. Like,
I honestly think
cool. I love seeing her in with those vibes though.
Yeah, I honestly think like the reveal that like when she is talking, like her mouth isn't moving, like it's the other guy, like when they're like possessed together, is like really freaky.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so too. Sorry.
Do you know if this? Do you know if this got a like a? You know how like Kinda had the remaster with like the effects, like they made the snake like CGI and stuff. Did this get that treatment too, or?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I think that would be really cool because the effect of like the snake coming out of her arm is very silly, but like it's cool that like you can kind of like tell what they were going for with it. But I just I kind of want to see it with like better special effects.
Sure. But yeah, that cliffhanger, it really felt like almost like a scary stories to tell in the dark ending. Like the idea of like he finally opens his eyes and it's this like, oh, it wasn't even her talking, but now they can both. And then like the old, maybe because it was old, but just the audio effect of like their voices being deepened. But yeah, it was just like really creepy. We learn a lot of like business about the jewels and like the big jewel and the little jewel. And that was probably the most plot heavy aspect of the whole story. The Great Mind's Eye and the Little Mind's Eye. That's what they were called.
Because it's like the jewel's important for the ending spoilers. So like it's kind of tricky to like balance like, oh yeah, these are important, this is how they work, but also like including it in the story because the rest of it's just so character driven.
Yeah, right. I thought they did a good job of being like, oh, like they're looking for this one who has the little one. Oh, like, and they're finding like Dogen's like journal. I don't know if that was part 3.
So I found a list of all of the remastered episodes. And we have Day of the Daleks, the Time Warrior, Ark in Space, Destiny of the Daleks, Kinda, Earthshock, Arc of Infinity, Black Guardian Trilogy, Planet of Fire, Revelation of the Daleks, Battlefield, and Curse of Fenric.
Ooh.
Though Battlefield and Curse of Fenric are just and Planet of Fire? All three of those are just recut into feature-length episodes, like with all the cliffhangers removed. So yeah.
That's too bad.
But all the other ones have like new CGI effects, kind of like the Star Trek TOS remasters, though not as well done. Because, it wasn't shot on film, so makes it more difficult.
Well, you would think with Kinda they would do the second Mara story.
Yeah, you would think so, especially since it's the superior story. But I don't know. Is that
a hot take or is that pretty?
I actually don't know if that's a hot take or not. I'm not sure. Do you know, Cass?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I value how little all three of us feel the need to look into the wider Who fandom.
Because I would just get angry. And I don't want to be angry about Doctor Who.
Yeah. And it's also, it's kind of irrelevant because there's so many different iterations that it's just like, who cares what anyone's favorite is? Like, it doesn't, there's Doctor Who for everybody. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like, I was on YouTube like a few weeks ago and every once in a while I'll see like a thumbnail and it's like, why the Chibnall era was a failure. And it's like 4 hours long. And I'm like, Oh, I forget that also exists with Doctor Who because it's a geek thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's like Cass said, it's like, no, this is like one of the few things that hasn't made me sad or doesn't make me sad or cynical or tired, and kind of like it that way.
Yeah.
Snakedance Part 3, written by Christopher Bailey, directed by Fiona Cumming, produced by John Nathan Turner. Script edited by Eric Sayward. Air date January 25th, 1983. The Doctor storms into Ambrel's office and tries to convince the historian that the Mara is real and among them. Ambrel orders the Doctor to be sent to jail for wasting his time and being annoying. Lon, now under the control of the Mara, is next to visit Ambrel's office and is much more successful, stealing a jewel vital to bringing the Mara back to physical form and convincing Ambrel to follow him back to the caves. Now imprisoned in a jail cell, the Doctor tries reasoning with an acolyte of Ambrel's named Chella to free him, but to no avail. Lon lures Ambrel to the caves with the promise of finding new historical artifacts if he helps Lon hijack the upcoming ceremony. Nyssa finds the Doctor in jail, and shortly after, they both read from a diary brought to them by Chella, who has warmed up to the Doctor's affable personality and confident style. The diary belonged to Dogen, another historian who learned that the ancient Manussans used the psychic energy found in the crystals to accidentally create the Mara. Overwhelmed by the magnitude of his discovery, Dogen wandered hundreds of yards into the desert to be by himself for a while. Now convinced that the ceremony will awaken the Mara, Chella frees Nyssa and the Doctor just as Lon and several guards arrive to execute them. So yeah, we get a lot of Dogen lore in episode 3. We find out that he saw the truth of the Mara early on and decided to retreat into the sands to meditate and be on his own.
Mm-hmm.
At this point the Doctor is imprisoned, right? He's in his little jail cell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the majority of this episode is the Doctor in jail, eventually Tegan joins him, and then it's cutting between that and a lot of Prince machinations of
yes,
the Prince just walking into rooms and being a dick to everybody and then leaving.
I wish his name was Prince Machinations.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Also, was I the only one picking up romance vibes between him and the curly-haired guy? That
absolutely.
They had vibes, right?
Cass, I'm going to walk you through this.
It's really funny that you two are on board with. It's so funny.
I will say, so he comes to Ambrel.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I know a secret place hidden away with all of this cool historical stuff. Follow me. I order you to come with me because I'm the prince. And he goes, okay. And then it's here, let's steal these candles because it'll be dark and we need something to light the way while we're in the caves. Oh, here, let me put this blindfold on you and lead you.
Yeah, I can't believe you weren't picking up on these vibes, Cass. Did you watch this episode with both fingers in your ears and your eyes closed and going la 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 la?
I didn't have my gay goggles on, sorry.
Sure.
I was too enamored with his wardrobe.
Sure.
Yeah. This whole, and we'll get to, he hasn't even worn his best outfit yet. That's in the next episode.
I do like, though, that all of his outfits are similar. They all look like he's going to catch a hawk at some point. Every outfit, he's got hawk gloves on.
Very Falconer.
Yes. Falconer. That's the word. That is it.
So we learn that the Mara was actually created by this ancient civilization on Loco Ocho or whatever the planet's name is.
Choco Taco.
Choco Taco.
R.I.P.
I thought, oh yeah, that's true. And even though I'm having trouble remembering immediately that it, but I thought it was really cool, the idea that this ancient species was actually like super advanced and was able to even like curve matter and create life, it sounded like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ancient aliens.
Did either of you pick up on more? It was ancient aliens. Or like, you know how like you watch sci-fi movies now and it's all just like nanotech moving in like a big swarm?
Mhm.
That's like kind of what I was imagining.
Yeah. There's a bit in this where there's a puppet show talking about
Oh my gosh.
the Mara, and my cat Gelato hated that puppet. Hated it. Hated it. He was sitting in my lap the whole time I was watching this, and when that puppet show happened, he was asleep, and when that puppet show started, he rose his head slowly and just started to like kind of arch his back while looking at the TV. There was something about like the dumb noises they were making, because like the puppet people like weren't speaking words; they were like making like noises at each other. And he hated it. He hated
That's
it
so
much.
funny.
So
It kind of sounded like the puppeteer or puppeteers were using like a voice box.
mm-hmm.
It had like that 70s like Eric Clapton. It was very unpleasant. I don't blame Gelato.
Yeah, it was extremely unpleasant. Yeah.
And it's
The
like
kids were loving it though.
it's like over a minute long, the
Yeah.
puppet show scene. Which I really like.
yeah.
I really like all the world building stuff that gets a chance to breathe in this story.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, because the puppet show is like the story of the Mara. It like drags the dude down and like eats him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, every time I cut back to like a featured kid extra's like whimsical face watching this horrible show. And then we get our second person screaming cliffhanger, only to be immediately fine in the next episode.
This is the worst cliffhanger I have seen in a while. Just like, we're gonna kill them, and then like you come back to the next episode and it's like, no, don't do that. Like
I felt so bad for Nessa, like the actress, because like she had to scream for like no reason.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you could tell that Christopher Bailey, like, the cliffhangers are not something that he respects. He does not respect the sanctity of our cliffhangers. He's just like, can we just play this all through? Like, this weekly installment business. He's not into it.
Like it's different than just a chapter ending, you know?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Snakedance Part 4. Written by Christopher Bailey. Directed by Fiona Cumming. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Script edited by Eric Sayward. Air date January 26, 1983. Tana arrives just in time to halt her son's order. The doctor, Nissa, and Chella manage to escape. Using the crystal he stole, the doctor is able to summon Dojin, who teaches the doctor a cool new way to get high called the Snakedance. After letting a live snake bite their wrists, the doctor and Dojin form a psychic connection, where the doctor finally unloads all the guilt he feels over letting Tegan get possessed by the same evil snake god a second time, and Dojin teaches the doctor a psychic technique that can ward off the Mara's control. At the ceremony, the doctor and Nissa arrive too late to stop Lon from summoning the Mara, using Tegan to try and finally take physical form again. The doctor uses the still point technique that Dojin taught him while they were both snake dancing out in the desert, and is finally able to free Tegan from the Mara's control. In part 4, we get Lon fully in his villain era. Just just ready to this whole time they've been preparing for this ceremony that's like the centerpiece of the 400th anniversary of the Mara being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been like getting ready to go down into the snake caves, I guess. So we get everyone preparing for the day of the ceremony. The doctor and Nissa and the third guy are looking for Dojin.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has the little mind's eye.
Right. That's how we learn what a snake dance is.
That was crazy. Do y'all want to talk about that sequence?
Please do.
Did they enter another dimension, or was that just like outside the city?
I think they just like
where
wandered
Dojin was.
into the desert. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. Like half an hour, and he was just
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
But you know what's really interesting? What's really interesting about that scene is that it's not outside. It's a set, right? But they shot it on 16 millimeter because that's what they do when they shoot out like exterior stuff. So they made the audience be like, "Oh, this is outside." Like
That's
they use
so
that
smart.
Yeah, she used that to her advantage of like, oh, this is what Doctor Who fans are used to. Like, if it's outside, it looks like this. If it's inside, it looks like this.
Mhm.
So I want to shoot this scene on 16 millimeter.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. She's a good director.
And even if I don't know if my brain subconsciously clocked outside, but it did clock like other place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and it kind of added to that like kind of trippiness that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But even more so is the part where they find Dojin.
Skinny Ben Franklin snake guy.
Yeah, skinny Ben Franklin snake guy. And he and the Doctor have like a Vulcan mind meld where the effect is a zoom in on both of their faces, and they added like a squiggly after effect over just their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was incredible to watch, but we get a cool moment, a character moment, I thought, where we learn that the Doctor holds a lot of guilt over what's happening to Tegan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, it's my fault. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, he hasn't been sharing that. That means he's been keeping it inside.
Yeah. He bottles up his feelings. 5. He's got a little bit more of a stiff upper lip, I think, than a lot of the other Doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that, because I often think I attribute that with 10. And I got so much 10 vibes this whole story.
Yeah, I was also just thinking, like, just seeing the Fifth Doctor walking around, I was just like, man, I would love another Doctor that was like that, whose outfit was like as well put together as the Fifth Doctor's, where it all feels like of a piece together. And then I was like, oh wait, that's the 10th Doctor. Like that was his thing. And then I was like, oh right, and they inspired like the Fifth Doctor inspired the 10th Doctor, and that's why he wears tennis shoes and all of that. And I was like, huh, they really did it, didn't they? Like, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Just like, man, they really did it.
Or like there's little moments where he, like, his hands would be in his coat pockets, you know, and he would just kind of be like looking around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I would like another Doctor that is a little more put together than like 12 and 13. As much as I love 13's outfit, and like obviously I love all of 12's like variations of what he wears, but it would be really cool to see like a uniform. Like 13 had a uniform, but like she had like more of like a uniform, like 9 had a uniform, which was just like, yeah, you know, I have like 7 of the same t-shirt and like I wear that, you know, with my jacket. I would like to see like a real like put together outfit again, like 10, and I guess like 11, but even 11 has like 2 outfits, and I prefer one over the other.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's always a bummer when the shift happens.
It kind of seems like already there's a lot of hype surrounding like what 14's aesthetic's going to be.
Yeah, I know. There kind of always is. But and I just trying to think about like what I always say it, but I want one of these goddamn Doctors to bring back the scarf. I want the scarf back. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like 14 would look good in the scarf. He'd probably look good in everything. But,
Like,
you know.
the scarf or a scarf?
No, a scarf.
Okay.
A scarf. Yeah. Yeah.
13,
Not the exact same scarf, but
13 wore a scarf for New Year's Day and like a lot of the promo material, but I can't picture her wearing it like in the episode.
yeah, I can't either, actually. Huh.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But speaking of killer looks, Lon's ceremony outfit.
Yeah.
So first off, the actor crushes it. The actor walks out 100% feeling like, I believe that he thinks that he's wearing like, he's about to hit the Met Gala.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call it like a chest plate? Like or a tunic? What would you call the chest thing?
I don't know. Probably like a tunic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tunic, because the shoulders are very defined, but it's not armor.
Right.
You know what it was reminding me of for whatever reason? It doesn't look like anything like he wore, but there's something about the color and the whole vibe. I was thinking of like young Hercules, like in the Disney Hercules, like when he was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Like that's he just gave off that Hercules vibe. I don't know.
Because like the tunic or whatever is like really short. So yeah, I think it's just like the cut of it.
And it's got the clouds and sky.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
we've been bearing the lead listeners. The whole design is just a cloudy blue, like Pixar sky.
Yeah. Like Andy's bedroom.
Like Andy's bedroom. And little sandals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I look, mother?
The sandals definitely bring it into like Greek territory as well, I think.
Yeah. So they go down to the festival, and then Lon ruins the festival and says, "Be like, this is a lie. The Mara's not even real." And I think my favorite part of the whole episode is, so like the whole ceremony's down there, and there's been a guy who is carrying the float snake, the parade snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And later on, when Lon is giving his evil monologue, everyone is looking up at him. And the guy controlling the snake puppet has the snake's head turned.
That's incredible. You can't break the illusion.
Right? Yeah.
This could be a test.
Right. And so Dojin teaches the doctor a mind kung fu technique.
Yeah, like a protection spell. Kind of.
Yeah, that will fortify his mind and allow him to fight the Mara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we didn't even talk about how they went into this state of being together, this mind meld, which is that they both force a snake to bite them and then they get high on the venom. That's how this is happening. So,
Very Dune again.
Is this canonically the first time that the Doctor has ever gotten high?
Maybe.
Has ever tuned in, dropped out, and
yeah.
I think so.
That's funny.
Come on, Sarah Jane, let's drop some acid. Let's drop some weed. Go to a party.
Oh, Doctor.
I was imagining the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane like going to a rave in 1999.
Yeah. Like spaced.
Yeah. Holy shit!
Got a Cat in the Hat.
Yeah. Hell yeah, and a pacifier.
Oh my god.
A candy necklace.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. I think the part where the Mara fused with Tegan needed a sensory warning.
Oh,
probably.
Yeah, the blinking. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Or it was the hyper cutting back and forth.
Yeah.
That also felt like it was a minute.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
The transition too of her entering its mouth, like as that, like with the blinking, the flashing back and forth and the blinking, and then suddenly like the Mara's blinking, but she's not anymore. And then the Mara stops blinking and she's inside the Mara. Like, it was a really cool effect considering, you know, this is 1983 and they're editing on videotape, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The snake, though, looked spectacular.
Mm.
When his mouth opened, that was such a cool effect.
Yeah.
Like, his mouth, like, unfurled.
That was cool. Cass wanted CGI.
I do. I think the puppet is interesting.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I think I guess like when it dies, it's not great, you know, because it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like a puddle of goo.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like vomiting pudding.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it would be so cool for the Mara to come back, is because now with like the budget the BBC has, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just a big snake. Like, that's such a cool, simple design.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they should, he's been wanting, or they have been wanting to write an episode of Doctor Who, but if you brought back the Mara and had Grant Morrison write it,
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
that would be nuts.
That'd be so good.
Wow. Has Grant
Yeah.
Grant Morrison seen Snakedance?
Yeah, he's seen all of Doctor Who. He loves
Okay.
they love Doctor Who. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels, I could picture some of these being like, I know, like being like Grant Morrison style, like panels. I know he's not an artist, but like
Yeah.
that like trippy,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
do it. And nobody dies.
Nobody dies except for the Mara.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Mara
the vomit. It's so funny that they're just like, let's have the Mara vomit to show that it's dead. But like, yeah, but its tongue is out on the ground and it just looks like an unmanned puppet now. But then there's this pool of gooey vomit on the ground that looks like somebody dumped a bunch of like those quarter machine slime, machine slime that you'd have, and just dumped it onto the ground in a pile.
Oh, I need to go back and make that a meme.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then, yeah, we talked about the abrupt ending earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Although we do get that really great shot of skinny Ben Franklin Snake Guy being like, "My job here is done,"
And then he just like
walking
wanders off.
into
Yeah.
the sun. Yes.
Even further into the desert.
Yeah. He like gets up and he walks over to the edge and then takes a look back and then like walks off into the desert.
I think my work here is done.
Yeah. Gives us all a little nod.
I got the
Good
doctor
job.
high.
That'll do, Snake. That'll do.
So,
Oh.
yeah, quite
And
the
then the-
tale.
Yeah, the doctor's like, the Mara has been destroyed. Credits. Like just
Yeah.
instant credits. Pew! Credits.
Which,
Uh.
as we mentioned, would later turn out to be a lie.
Uh-huh. Indeed. So
Good,
that's Snake
good
Dance.
companions. Good,
Mhm.
good use of both companions, I thought.
I agree. Next season, on Long Way Around, when we do Fifth Doctor again, we are introduced to a new companion.
Mm-hmm.
Nick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is this the one
Yeah.
that you say that I would really like?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna like dislike him necessarily, but like, I don't think it's not gonna be somebody you're gonna be like pumped about or anything.
Okay, I don't want to know too. Okay, is he in the like little smart boy category or like weirdly too old category?
More in the smart boy category, but he's got more of like a Draco Malfoy vibe to him.
Oh, I like that.
He's a little snooty.
Yeah.
Less smarty pants and more snooty.
Kind of like Eustace from the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Sure. I don't know. I have no idea. I do not understand that reference. But yeah, so we get an introduction to a new companion next season.
I wish there were more stories of just Nyssa and Tegan, because I really like the vibe, like, of just those two and the Doctor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't mind Turlo.
That's kind of the one downside of this story is Tegan is fully the baddie in this one,
right.
So you don't get a lot of Nyssa and Tegan like bouncing off each other.
Right. I just wish there were more just Doctor and Nyssa stories, like just the two of them. But I don't know. I really like their dynamic. There's that great moment in the first episode where they leave they go to leave the TARDIS, and Nyssa opens the door, and then the Doctor comes by to open the door, and he closes it, and then he's like, he walks up to the door, and he's like, why is it closed? And then she flips the switch again, and then it opens, and he goes, and she's so mad about it. I love that. That's so fun. But anyway, it's a good one. It's a good one. It really is.
I think talking about it has made me like it even more.
Yeah, certainly. But anyway,
if they had gotten the snake to vomit, that would have been a notch up.
Yeah, that's good. That would have been good. So next time on the show, womp womp, not something to look forward to. We're back to Trial of a Time Lord, with easily the worst section of Trial of a Time Lord, which is Mind Warp. It is the worst.
Great.
It's the return of a previous Sixth Doctor villain. The little wormy turd.
Oh no.
The little effing slug that I hate
Sluggy.
so much.
Yeah, that whips his tongue in and out while going la 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 la. That guy.
You know what I hate about this era is, like, it, in addition to, like, the Sixth Doctor stuff and the Perry stuff that I've talked about a lot, there's such like a visual unpleasantness to a lot of that era.
Yep. And this is quite possibly the most visually unpleasant episode of the entire era. It's a rough one. So that's next week. Apologies in advance, everyone, including myself.
Right.
I mean, they don't have.
I don't want to watch this
They
again.
have to watch it.
It'll be the last time any of us have to watch it, at least.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, Mind Warp. At least on the other side of that, we got an absolute banger. But first, we got to get through Mind Warp. Oh, yikes. Anyway.
Is that 4 parts?
Yeah, 4 parts.
Okay.
At least it's not 2 45-minute episodes this time. That they're done with that.
Right?
They're done with that. That was
a bad idea.
That was a bad idea. All right. Next time's Mind Warp. Check out the Patreon, duelinggenre.com/support. We want to do those brackets, those Doctor Who brackets. We want to do. I've been thinking about doing like villains, brackets for like Moffat pen stories, brackets for Russell T Davies pen stories. We want to talk
Craig
about
episodes.
Yeah, we want to talk about what was I? I lost my train of thought. The Russell T Davies stuff that he's done since leaving Doctor Who. We want to talk about that stuff. All that stuff we would be doing on the Patreon. So if any of that content sounds interesting, go to duelinggenre.com/support and let us know that's what you want to hear. So put your foot down. Anyway, all right. That's that. We'll be back next week with the Sixth Doctor and a little sluggy guy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
May you never know the serpent's sting.